Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Hard to believe it's already the last map of the semester, map section for the semester. I guess I'll kick it off. So I chose to focus a little bit more on, and I think I'll probably choose my map topic on this. But wanted to focus a little bit on the development of faith and spirituality. So the Evans text provides two different examples of some theories for faith development. I looked a little bit more closely into the faith development theory of Sharon Parks, um, and so she really used and developed this theory based on kind of her own experiences, from her, as a teacher, counselor, and researcher in college. So coming from more of a genuine higher ed perspective and experience, as well as integrating some of her own experiences and her own religious experiences there. Um, but really, I appreciated taking the context of saying there's a difference between religion and spirituality. And that was even referenced before you even really get into the theories and talking about there. Um, and really understanding what are those differences there, and what are those steps, particularly for the young adult, the college age students, in their faith journey, whatever faith that they may have or eventually will have. And I think both Fowler as well as for Parks, both were able to kind of identify the general idea that you usually start off with a fairly simple belief, simple faith, as a small child, and it kind of grows a little bit, and you tend to take on the views of your parents based on what they teach you, and what you gain from your experiences from those other people around you, which generally are family there. And then eventually, how as you become older, you have more and more experiences that maybe sometimes challenge and question those beliefs that you have. And the book provides that example of some of those students are placed in that situation where their viewpoints are being challenged based on some of the experiences that they have. And I think what both Fowler as well as for Parks really do, is they try to make a sense of how is that developed, and how is faith formed. And there's a quote that I liked from Parks, and this was specific on page 202, right there in the first paragraph that mentions Parks' theory and then goes into. But it really just said that what faith is. Faith is the activity of seeking and discovering meaning in the most comprehensive dimensions of our experiences. So really about applying those experiences that we have, and creating that meaning of where it is. And really, Parks focused a lot on the structure and the content of the faith, as well as, recognizing that there is this additional stage that we have to focus on, this young adult. It's a transitionary from that childhood stage to adulthood, that you still kind of have some of those contexts that you take and you apply there. And Parks mentioned that there's four stages that you have, and the way that she really has, I see it initially set up, and she goes back and refutes it a little bit later to say, this is not set up to be very linear, or it doesn't have to be linear. It's more, I believe she described it as, it could be applied as this dynamic, could be applied as spiral, but goes from adolescence to young adult to, as she calls, tested adult, and then mature adult. So throughout those age experiences, we apply these experiences that we have in order to establish what that faith is. And I think for me, and where I kind of find the connection in this as well, is that I'm one of those people that still am on my own faith journey, and I think we all are in that boat, that we all are discovering and exploring, what we believe in, and really making some greater meaning out of what it is that we do believe in. And really, Parks recognize that there's these three different kind of areas, three different arenas that you make sense of your faith: knowing, dependence, and then community. And particularly, what I think she focused a little bit more on, is this need for community development beyond just kind of your family, and even friends. As we maybe challenge our beliefs that we had when we were younger, we're looking for those places to relate, to find those other people who believe similarly to us. or share some aspects that we also have in faith there. And I think that she mentions a little bit, and they talk about some of the research and the needs for, as well as in the text a little bit further, how there is this need for conversation about faith and religion and spirituality on a college campus. That there is this such a big taboo on the separation of church and state. Private universities are able to get away with it a little bit more, having that connection, mostly because many of them are related to a specific branch, a denomination, or a specific faith, or something like that. But there's this greater need for us as professionals to be a little bit more aware of ours and being able to explain it and relate, and helping people to validate and recognize those experiences. So I think this really helps provide a little bit more meaning and context to explaining how we have how our faith develops, and taking an educational perspective and really looking at kind of a I don't know, just really basically having a better understanding of what it is. The book mentions a little bit about some of the challenges to it. It's not been able to be tested as well, or like many of the other things we've seen. These initial theories really are a challenge because they focus on white Western people, people who have a Western beliefs. So looking to kind of expand and take a little bit more multicultural perspective from it, but still I think it's a good application again, in really seeing the journey point from that faith development, from starting off at something to eventually having this mature faith in whatever it may be. So just thought it was pretty interesting as far as kind of seeing some of those points, how it goes, and there's different interacting relationships that they have. But anyway, I'll quit rambling on. Look forward to hearing the rest of everyone else's post.